All right, news of the day. Welcome. Hi, good morning. And so the AHL did something this morning that's definitely newsworthy. And so I've got my Colorado Eagles hat and jersey on. That's first in a video for me. So the AHL has officially canceled the season, which doesn't really surprise anybody. And the thing with the AHL is, unlike big pro leagues like the NHL, Major League Baseball, and whatnot, they don't have a big TV contract. So they are almost completely gate driven. Without the gates, the AHL doesn't exist. Now, the one thing I keep hearing people say about pro sports is they should just cancel and come back and start from scratch next season. Things may not change in time for next season. And the AHL is looking at a situation right now where there's some question of whether or not there will be a next season as well. So, because of the fact there wouldn't be fans in attendance, the AHL is already looking at next season and saying, I don't know if we'll be able to have one. So, for the NHL, this is problematic because you need to make sure that prospects are continuing to develop. You need to make sure that players are continuing to get games in and stay in shape, and that your prospects are developing. Now, maybe they come to some kind of agreement with European teams, which wouldn't go over well for European players who also need ice time and need that development time as well. So, this could be that ripple effect that we see in certain sports, and it could be the one for hockey. The NHL could very well have 30-man rosters once they return as well. And I've talked about this, how it makes more sense to allow for expanded rosters and just take... I mean, if you're in the playoffs, you don't worry about the salary cap anyways, right? So if they go to a 30-man roster for the playoffs, and then basically that means that you could have 7, 8, 9, 10 injuries, and you're still not needing to call anybody in. So, this works out for the NHL right now, but it doesn't work out long term for the AHL. And there is some real concern about what's going to happen from here when it comes to the American Hockey League. I can only imagine what it will do to the ECHL and other leagues below that as well. And that's a hierarchy that we don't really think about in the midst of all that that's going on right now, is that this could really hurt the way that leagues are put together, and not just the NHL level, but every league below. So this could have rippling effects for years, and this is something that we're starting to hear now, which is the idea of there being a financial recovery is likely to happen, but it could be years. We could be talking middle of the decade before we have some kind of a recovery of the economy back to where it was 2 months ago. So, all of that aside, Brendon Ghuli has signed a 2-year extension with the Anaheim Ducks. I think he did well enough this year with the Ducks that, he should be interested in staying there, and they should be interested in keeping him. After a couple of stops and starts at the NHL level this year, he looked pretty good. And Carrick has signed a 1-year extension with the Ducks, so that's some good depth there, and they managed to keep everything together that way. One signing that happened on Friday, but there really wasn't a whole lot to report on Friday, so, right? Goaltender Tyler Wall has been signed by the Rangers. He signed his entry-level contract. 2016 number 174 overall pick. May very well be a steal late. So another goaltender thrown into the Rangers mix. They have a lot of goaltenders. He had a .931 save percentage at UMass Lowell this season. So pretty darn solid numbers for him. We'll see if they translate to the NHL level. He's trending in the right direction. So we'll see how this affects the overall goaltending picture. They have a lot of goalies in New York. A lot. So we'll see how he fits in. And then on a final news note, and yeah, it's a nice quick video today. Marcus Granlund's reportedly signing in the KHL with Ufa. It just hasn't been announced yet, it looks like, but there are reports out of Russia that Marcus Granlund's headed over to the KHL, which would make some sense. Granlund, he had a couple of good years in Vancouver. I liked him. I thought he was useful as a guy that you could plug into various parts of the roster. But, in the end, he became expendable in Vancouver, and it just didn't work in Edmonton either. So, he goes to the KHL, and we'll see whether that's the last we see of him in North America, or maybe goes back in a couple of years and plays in a utility role somewhere. I do like Granlund. I do wish him the best. And, so there you go. Nice, quick little news video to start out today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And remember, The NHL is not just a gate-driven league, so it makes sense that they're not canceling when there's another league that's almost completely gate-driven that is. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.